You guys are watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey, and we're taking a look today at some potential Jimmy Garoppolo destinations via trade or if he ends up getting cut or a deal restructured. I'll explain what I mean by that later on in the show. The Niners thought for sure they would have traded Jimmy Garoppolo by now, but then his shoulder surgery helped prevent that in a suddenly quick-forming market for other QBs, like Carson Wentz, really negatively impacted San Francisco. And now they're at this stage. He is due almost $25 million in non-guaranteed money. The new team would owe him that. And there is a chance the Niners might have to just cut him straight up because they don't want to deal with that amount of money for a guy that's probably not going to start for them. And as you get further along in the offseason, it becomes tougher for a team to take on that type of money, whether it be a team in desperate need or not. Garoppolo, when healthy, has been a starting caliber quarterback. However, there is a reason why the Niners tried so hard to go get Trey Lance and succeeded, because they were not sold in him being the answer to their playoff, not quite good enough level. Now, injuries also a problem for Garoppolo. He's missed a lot of his NFL career, barely played in 2020 and 2018, and now you throw in the shoulder surgery. That is not ideal either for Garoppolo. So there are three options here for the Niners. They can keep him, they can trade him, or they can wait and try to not cut him. And the keep would probably have to be on a restructured deal. So we're going to get some of my destinations for Jimmy Garoppolo, some trade, some cut options. But I want you guys to answer this question first. What will the Niners do with Jimmy Garoppolo? K for keep, T for trade, or W for wait? Number 5, the New York Jets. Allow me to explain. This is not as a starter. This is not as a trade idea. But if he gets cut and there just is no market whatsoever for Jimmy Garoppolo, the Jets as a backup QB is actually a sensible destination. Again, this is the disaster scenario where literally nobody wants Jimmy Garoppolo, is New York, a offense that is similar to what Shanahan runs. And even though Joe Flacco was once elite, Garoppolo is a better QB at this stage in NFL careers. He would not be the replacement for Zach Wilson. He'd be the vet mentor. I do think that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't quite want to go the vet mentor route, but if the timing is really bad for Jimmy Garoppolo, he might not have very many other options in the end. So where do you guys think Jimmy G will play in 2022? Is it the Niners? Somebody else altogether? Make your predictions. This question is the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad break comes on YouTube, go take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know where you think Jimmy G plays this season. Number 4, Seattle Seahawks. This is not a trade destination because I don't foresee the Niners saying, yes, we will trade Jimmy Garoppolo to a division rival and potentially help them beat us. That's not how teams operate at the quarterback position, unless they think he's washed like Donovan McNabb ended up being. I will say this, though. Jimmy G's better than what they got on that roster, man. Drew Lock, Geno Smith, Jacob Eason, those guys at their best are not better than Garoppolo. Drew Lock, I know there are still some Drew Lock truthers out there. I respect you for your mindset. I disagree. He's not very good. Geno Smith has never been good beyond being a backup QB. Got his chance last year and was pretty middling overall. So, yes, this would be an upgrade. The problem is, well, how does Seattle get him? It would have to be, I think, via a release. And I still think there's a chance that Garoppolo ends up being traded by San Francisco, if not a decent chance. You might not know this, but this video was filmed live on NFL Daily After Hours. If you want to get the exclusive live videos once a week on Rumble, go support us on that video platform. Free, uncensored video content. It's rumble.com/NFL Daily. That link to the Rumble page to follow us will be in the comment section and in the description. But one more time, it's rumble.com/NFL Daily. Number 3, the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, destination of not going anywhere. for the Niners. The scenario here is that Jimmy Garoppolo simply restructures his deal to stick around in some capacity as more of a backup option. I know there have been some, I'm going to call them claims, that the Niners are not enamored with Trey Lance. I think that they are, and I think that they have just been hesitant to have been unable to trade Garoppolo. It's not that they don't want to keep Lance, that they've had an issue finding a taker for him. The backup options are Nate Sudfeld, who's bad, and Brock Purdy, who is Mr. Irrelevant, and we know how that pick typically turns out. So, if by some chance the Niners are worried about Trey Lance, a cheaper Jimmy Garoppolo could make sense. That could be a straight-up restructure of his deal, and maybe make it some incentive-based. That could work. Incentives are a bit tricky because they're based on last year's production, and he produced pretty well, so you got to go super high, which makes him like to be earned, which is kind of against the cap. It's not ideal there. Or could be a straight-up release and then a re-signing. So I will include the Niners as a potential Jimmy Garoppolo destination, which I did not think was ever going to happen. I thought he would have been long gone as we now enter the mid part of May. Chat Sports is your one-stop shop for NFL videos on YouTube at youtube.com/chatsportstv and on Rumble at rumble.com/NFL Daily. We'll put the links to those in the comments section here. Make sure you subscribe for more free videos on the NFL. We're free and we always will be. So if you haven't already, subscribe right now. Into my top two, and I like this top two quite a bit. The dark horse destination, the Houston Texans. Shout out Cujo17 for putting that one in there in the Rumble live stream today. There is Davis Mills, who I was impressed by a little bit, but there was also a under-the-radar report, I believe it was by Aaron Wilson, that the Houston Texans could be in the market for Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield. I would wonder if Baker makes more sense, but Houston checks in at 2 on our list because Seattle doesn't make sense for Jimmy Garoppolo on the same level. Davis Mills showed promise last year, and this is a team that I guess is willing to be patient and fire their head coach again if they need to. Kind of a weird combo there. Davis Mills, I'm not convinced he's your franchise guy, but he's young, he's cheap, and you're rebuilding, so it does make sense to give him a chance to see if he can be that guy. If they are not as sold as they have led people to believe, then adding a veteran like Garoppolo actually makes a ton of sense for Houston. Before we get to number one, where would you rank Jimmy Garoppolo among NFL QBs? He ain't 1, probably not 15, but he ain't 32 either. There are teams that would benefit from Jimmy G being a starting quarterback. The issue they run into is, well, they like to give those young guys a shot more so than older, experienced vets whose ceilings are a bit limited. So rank Jimmy G right now among NFL QBs. At number 1, the Carolina Panthers. And I think the most logical of the options for now, there could always be an interchange of stuff, is Baker to Seattle and Jimmy Garoppolo to Carolina. And my reasoning is this. This allows Carolina to get the best of both worlds to an extent. Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback right now than Sam Darnold has ever been in his NFL career. And although there is some upside with Matt Corral, he is not ready. Golden Corral ain't ready to be an NFL QB. And if the Panthers only have these two guys as starters, Matt Rule's going to get fired. He ain't going to make it as that team's head coach. Garoppolo allows them to have a better veteran for now and still grow and groom Matt Corral. And if he's bad, take a QB again next year. It buys them what the organization needs. Time to win more games as they try to figure out their long-term answer at QB. Because it sure as hell ain't Sam Darnold. Welcome into the anti-Sam Darnold portion of today's show. We as a nation simply have to come together and acknowledge that Sam Darnold is not good at football. The long national nightmare of trying to make Sam Darnold into a thing has to stop. He's like Fetch. It ain't going to happen. He has never been good in the NFL. And although Carolina might worry about Jimmy Garoppolo, his contract and being healthy when he gets cleared in June or July, allegedly, he is a better option once he's healthy than Darnold is. I know the O-line was bad. I get all of that. Darnold has been bad in New York. We can say he was ruined by Adam Gase. That's fine, but he's always been bad. Jimmy Garoppolo might just be a good enough QB to save that organization and save Matt Rule from getting fired as Panthers head coach. Put Jimmy G on Carolina, they might just sneak their way into the postseason.